I was the last one in the office, again. Friday night before a long weekend, and everyone had bolted hours ago. But I'd just been promoted, and this client deck needed to be flawless. The office felt too quiet, like it was holding its breath. Streetlights outside cast slow-moving shadows across the floor. I rubbed my eyes, flicked through the slides, trying to stay focused. I didn't bother with music, just left my earbuds in for the comfort of it. The hum of the HVAC was the only sound. I told myself 10 more minutes. Send the file, shut the laptop, get out. 10 more minutes. I just wanted to finish and leave before the silence started feeling heavier. Around 8:30, I heard a door creak somewhere down the hall. A long, slow moan of metal that made me freeze. It was the fire exit. That door should have been shut tight and alarmed. I pulled out an earbud and listened. Nothing, just stillness. I stood, walked down the hallway, every step louder than it should have been. The fire door was closed but not latched, just resting there, slightly ajar, like someone had slipped through and didn't bother sealing it. I pushed it shut, listening for the click. No alarm. I told myself it was probably a draft or some maintenance guy who forgot to relock it. I went back to my desk. But now, I couldn't quite focus. 15 minutes later, the motion lights down the side corridor flicked on. I looked up fast, heart jumping, but saw nothing. Just empty hallway. Then something tugged at me. I stood, walked toward the break room. The microwave light was on. Its door hung open. A coffee mug I didn't recognize sat on the counter, steam curling from the top like someone had just left it there. I hadn't seen anyone, hadn't heard anyone. My pulse kicked up. I backed into my office and locked the door, hands a little shaky. I opened Slack, checked the team channel. Everyone had been offline for over an hour. I stared at the screen, hoping for a ping. Nothing came. Then I heard it. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, just outside my door. I froze. Shadows moved under the gap, then stopped. The handle turned, rattled once. It was locked. A knock followed, soft, steady, almost polite. I didn't move, didn't even breathe. The knock stopped. Silence. I grabbed my phone with shaking hands and dialed 911. Whispered that someone was in the building right outside my office. "Stay calm," the dispatcher said. "Officers are on the way." I sank to the floor behind my desk, heart hammering. The silence outside was louder than any sound. Whoever it was, they were still out there, waiting, listening. I kept the dispatcher on the line and didn't move an inch. 7 minutes. That's how long I stayed crouched behind my desk, barely breathing, whispering updates to the dispatcher. When the officers arrived, I heard them call out, then sweep through the building. A few minutes later, one of them found him, a man trying to slip out through the back stairwell. He wasn't with the company. He had a stolen key card from a temp who'd quit weeks ago. No reason to be there. In his backpack, gloves, zip ties, duct tape. The officer told me, "You locked that door just in time." I didn't say much, just nodded, numb. I kept thinking about the coffee mug, still steaming. He'd been there longer than I realized. Watching, waiting. I'm Evan Madsen, 38, divorced, and I've grown to appreciate the silence of the night shift at Miller's Auto Garage. I clock in at 8 p.m., clock out at 4. No coworkers, no chatter, just the hum of machines and the occasional flicker of those tired fluorescent lights. Classic rock plays low on the radio while the snow taps against the garage door. It's cold as hell out here in rural Ohio, but I don't mind. Tonight marks 2 years since my brother died in that wreck. The same mangled car I drive to work every night, rebuilt bolt by bolt with my own hands. Sometimes I wonder if that metal remembers the crash more than I do. It was 1:17 when the garage door rattled. Not loud, just a sharp click and a slow grind like someone was easing it open. No cars were scheduled and I was the only one on shift. I checked the security feed. Nothing but snow blowing sideways and a fresh set of tire tracks that hadn't been there an hour ago. Probably the wind, I told myself, until I spotted a greasy handprint on the inside of the door. "Must be mine," I muttered, but my gloves were still on. That itch at the back of my neck started. the one that says something ain't right. The lights flickered again. Wiring, maybe. But I couldn't shake the feeling someone was already inside. First it was my wrench, gone from the bench. Later, sitting on the driver's seat of my brother's old car, the same seat where they found him slumped. I hadn't touched that car all night. Then the impossible happened. Its dead radio, gutted long ago, crackled to life with static. Through it, a voice, low, familiar, whispered, "Still think it was an accident, Evan?" My blood turned cold. I tore the wires out, yanked the damn thing dead again. No power, nothing should have worked. I told myself I was just tired, losing track. But when I glanced at the wall clock, it still read 1:17. Same as before. Time hadn't moved. Or maybe I had already lived this moment. I'd buried it deep. That night, the whiskey, my brother's call, I ignored. I told the cops he'd lost control in the snow, but I knew the truth. I should have driven, but I was drunk. I let him take the wheel. Now, under the hoist, a shape crouched. Human but broken. Legs twisted the same way they found him in the wreck. I froze. He looked up. My brother. Not bleeding, not rotting, just wrong, like he was caught halfway between now and then. My lungs locked up. He spoke in a voice I hadn't heard in 2 years. "I was never going to leave that car, Evan. But you did." And I knew then this wasn't just memory. It was punishment. They found me just after sunrise, curled up in the driver's seat of the old wreck, doors locked from the inside, skin blue from the cold. I kept saying over and over, it was my fault. The paramedics said I was hypothermic, confused. But I wasn't. I saw him, felt him. The police checked the footage. All clean except 1:17, where I'm seen talking to empty air, gesturing like someone's sitting beside me. They laughed it off, but the part they couldn't explain? The tire tracks in the snow matched my brother's car. That car was junked 2 years ago, crushed, gone. So how the hell did it pull into the garage last night, and how did I end up inside it? It was nearly 10:45 on a Tuesday night, and I was finishing my last delivery. Large pepperoni cash order out past the edge of town. The snow was falling heavier than usual, fog settling over the hills, but it wasn't anything new. I've done late runs like this for months now. Quiet roads, no traffic, just me and the occasional deer crossing. I logged the order, texted Tony at the shop to say I was heading out, threw on my hoodie and climbed into my beat-up Corolla. Radio down low, wiper struggling, headlights barely cutting through the fog. 15 minutes out to some rural address I didn't recognize. I figured I'd drop it off, maybe get stiffed on a tip, and call it a night. The house was older than I expected. Run down, paint peeling, just a single porch light flickering through the fog. I knocked twice, nothing. But there was a car in the driveway, still warm, and fresh footprints in the snow, trailing off toward the back. I walked around to the side, called out, and heard muffled voices inside, low, tense, like an argument. Then it went dead quiet. I turned to head back to the car when the front door creaked open halfway. A guy in his 50s, unshaven, stood there and muttered, "Yeah? Pizza?" He handed me exact change, didn't tip. As I passed the box over, I caught a glimpse of someone in the hallway behind him, standing still, facing the wall. As I walked back to my car, something bugged me. The sedan in the driveway had no front plate, and the back one was so caked in dried mud I couldn't read a single digit. I made a mental note to mention it to Tony. Halfway to my car, the guy called out, "Hey, you left your phone." I froze, instinctively checked my pocket. It was there. When I turned around, he wasn't at the door anymore. He was just standing at the edge of the porch, arms at his sides, staring. No expression, no words. I didn't say anything. I just got in and started the engine. As I pulled away, I checked my mirror. He was still there, still watching, still not moving. About 10 minutes into the drive back, my GPS glitched, just froze. Right as I missed a turn, snow was falling, heavier now, and I ended up on some narrow back road with no streetlights. That's when I saw headlights behind me. A truck. Big, older model, Came up fast, brights on, riding my bumper. I pulled slightly to the side figuring he'd pass, but he didn't. He slowed too, matched my speed. When I turned left, he turned left. Right, same thing. I wasn't panicking yet, but my pulse was up. Finally, I spotted a gas station and pulled in sharp. The truck rolled by without stopping, just kept going. I waited there under the lights, engine running, called Tony. Told him something wasn't right. Next morning, I was half awake scrolling local news when a headline hit me like a punch. Woman rescued from rural home, suspect in custody. It was the same road I delivered to, same damn house. She'd been tied up inside. Cops said the man posed as her brother. The actual homeowner? Missing for weeks. I called it in, gave my full statement. An officer said I probably interrupted something, that my timing might have saved her. I didn't feel like a hero. I just felt cold. That night, I got a text from an unknown number. You were early last night. Lucky you. No ID, no trace. I stared at it for a long time. By the end of the week, I quit the job.